Hey, hey, hey. So, my name is Shakita Brown, and I would like to tell you how I felt finding out that I was pregnant and having my first child at the age of 39. Bunkers, I know. So, it was it was shock, definitely, but let me tell you how it all went down. All right. So, I had been experiencing some soreness, extreme soreness in the nipples. Well, I always have that every month around my menstrual cycle, and it lasts for like 3 days and then it's done. However, I was vacationing in Costa Rica. I went on a 4 day hike and I just kept experiencing this soreness for well over a month. So I was like, oh my goodness, when I get back, I'm going to the doctor. So, long story short, I did. When I went to the doctor, I already knew what the problem was. I knew that my breast was sore. I needed a script to go get my mammogram so I can get them checked out and make sure nothing's wrong with them. And the doctor was like, well, could it be that you're pregnant? I was like, sir, I am 39 years old. Those eggs are fried, scrambled, and boiled. They are not trying to produce any children. So the doctor basically was like, well, I'm going to do my job. And so he sent me to go get my lab work. And I was like, fine, I'll go do that, but make sure you write that script. So he did. And so I went to get my lab work. I didn't think nothing of it. I went the following day to the gym. I met up with one of my friends, and she and I went to go get our gym membership. So we're signing our paperwork. I'm giving them my credit card information. I'm just ready to go ahead and get fit and in shape and tighten up this body. Well, excuse me. As we're sitting there, well, standing there, this phone call comes through, and this number called me like 3 times. And I'm like, who is this that keeps calling my phone? So I'm getting very irritable at this point. So then I finally answer, like right in the middle of signing something. And I was like, yes, very annoyed. And the lady so politely on the other end, hi, this is so and so from your doctor's office, just calling to let you know that your blood work came back for your pregnancy test. And I'm like, okay. And she was like, and it came back positive. And I'm like, oh, okay, great, thank you. I was like, wait, hold on, wait. What did you just say? And so she was like, yeah, it came back positive. I was like, wait, what? I don't understand. Like, for some reason, I was not comprehending, but I understood what she said. So I was in a bit of a panic. I'm like, whoa, what is going on right now? Like, am I being punked? So I'm standing here trying to conduct business, and I have my homegirl there, bro. The guy behind the register and my homegirl are waiting for me to end this phone call, but I'm like panicking and yelling and all of this. So I get off the phone, and my homegirl is like, "What's going on? What happened?" And I was like, "That was my doctor's office telling me that I'm pregnant." And so we both looked at each other because we're at this point where it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna have a kid. So that was like shocking news to us both. So once I said it out loud, we both looked at each other and started screaming. Ah! And we hugged each other. And so we both got tears in our eyes like, what? This can't be real. This is unbelievable. So then I was like, wait. You know what? I'm getting too anxious. I was like, maybe I didn't hear them clearly. So I stepped away. Literally, I took 3 steps back, and I called my doctor's office back because clearly they didn't know what they were talking about. So I called back and I was like, hey, some lady just called me and gave me some results of some blood work, and I just want to call and reconfirm what was said. So they look at my chart. Oh yeah, Miss Brown, your pregnancy test came back positive. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, but what do you mean by positive? Are you saying that I'm pregnant? Like, I don't know, my mind, the concept, it all, I just needed to hear the words, you're pregnant. So she was like, yes, Miss Brown. She's giggling because I guess she hears me freaking out on the other end. She was like, yes. I was like, but are you sure? Like, are you looking at the right chart? And she's like, yes, Miss Brown. So I'm like, okay. She said, you need to set an appointment with your OBGYN. I'm like, yeah, okay. So I get off the phone and I tell my homegirl, she just said it again. so at this point, the guy is standing behind the counter like, are we going to get your last signature and payment or what? And my friend looks at him and says, please give her a moment. she's pregnant and we didn't think this could happen. So he comes from behind the counter and gives me a hug, and we're like, oh, I was like willing to hug anyone at this moment. So I couldn't wait to finish conducting that business. Like, yeah, okay, I got my membership. So I leave there and I go to Family Dollar and get 2 pregnancy tests. I was like, you know what? I don't think my doctors know what they're talking about. Although the blood test is more effective than the urine sample, but whatever. I had to see it with my own eyes. So I get the pregnancy test, I go home, and I was like, I'm not going to take them both at one time. I'm going to take one now because I had to outsmart it. I'm going to take one now, and then later, after I eat and everything, I'll take the other one because it's going to make a difference. Well, they both came back positive, and I'm like, okay, something's going on here, and I can't quite put my finger on it. So after all that occurred, I told my friend, I sent her the 2 pregnancy tests, and I'm like, oh my gosh, can you believe this? Like, I'm pregnant in real life. But then I was still in a state of shock. Like, for some reason, I still don't believe it. What if it's like a tumor or something and they're thinking that I'm pregnant? Like, why would they do that? So I'm just questioning a whole bunch of stuff. Well, then my friend is like, well, how are you going to tell the dad? And I'm like, I don't know. So in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm going to wait until I go get a sonogram and stuff, and I'll tell him, and I'm going to do this cute little sweet thing and surprise him like, wapa, here, you're going to be a dad, blah, blah, blah. Well, it didn't quite happen that way. Soon as he video called me, I'm sitting here with tears in my eyes, like, he's like, what's going on? Well, the doctor called me, and I told him what happened, and I'm like, I'm pregnant. And he's just like, I kind of figured that. I'm like, what? How? He was like, you kept complaining about your breasts hurting. And like, my nose was really sensitive to smell, but I didn't experience any morning sickness. The only things that I did experience was when I would eat like a mango or a banana, and I would throw the peeling in the garbage. If I happened to walk back past that garbage can, it made me nauseous. I'd be like, the garbage got to go out. It's got to go out right now. I don't care if it's nothing in there but one banana peel. It's got to go out of the house. So I should have picked up something at that point, but I didn't. Anyhow, so I was like, well, in 2 weeks, they scheduled me for ultrasound. So when I go in then, I'll figure out what's going on. So I really like tried to keep my calm for 2 weeks. I didn't tell anyone but my mom, and he told his mom and dad. So those were the only people who knew, other than my friend who happened to be there when I found out. So I go for my ultrasound, and when I go in there, I see all these pregnant bellies walking around me, and I'm just like, I'm so out of place. My mom went to my appointment with me. So I'm just like, I feel so out of place. I was like, Mom, I don't belong here. And she was like, yes, you do. Now, mind you, when I told my mom, she was so excited. If she could have done a cartwheel, she would have. She was extremely excited. She's like, my first grandbaby. Ah! And she's dancing and stuff. And like, because I was in such shock, I guess, denial about the situation, I could have made it more special, but the feelings that I was feeling at the time, I couldn't make it special for the dad or my mom. It's like, I just told them, this is it. And they received it very well. They're both happy, and just seeing their excitement about it all makes it a lot easier to cope with. It's like, wow, there you are, a huge support system. So long story short, I'm in the doctor's office and I'm seeing all these stomachs, and I'm like, I just don't belong here. My mom's like, yes, you do. So I go in, and when I go get called to the back, they're like, we need for you to take a urine sample to confirm that you're pregnant. And I'm like, if I was pregnant, why would I have to take a urine sample to confirm I'm pregnant? I was like, see, I knew it. So, of course, all these thoughts of doubt is kicking in now. Like, I knew this crap. So I went, I give the urine sample, and I'm like, watch they tell me you're not pregnant. So 2 seconds later, the lady walks over and she starts taking my information. She's like, congratulations, you're having a baby. And I'm like, oh, hold on. At that moment, things started becoming real because I'm at the OBGYN's office. Yeah, my doctor told me that my blood work came back and it was positive. And yeah, I took 2 pregnancy tests at home and they both came back positive. But because I took one in the office and I saw it, now I believe it. But I didn't completely believe it. Like, I was there, but I wasn't there. I was like 90% there. So I was kind of there. But I was still like, this can't be. So she's taking down information, and it's like I had mixed emotions of excitement, fear, because I'm 39, and it's like, well, I'm 39. Why didn't it happen before now? And then you start questioning different things. So then I get called to the back, another portion, in order to do the ultrasound. And when I saw the baby come up on the screen, it was the most amazing feeling I had ever felt in all my life. I just looked up at it and I was like, that's a whole baby. And the lady is smiling and giggling, and my mom is just so cheerful. You could just see the joy over her face, and I got tears welled up in my eyes because I'm like, this is for real. Like, I'm not being pranked. Like, there's a whole baby. And she kept wondering why I kept saying a whole baby. I'm like, well, for one, I found out kind of later in the game that I was pregnant. I didn't get pregnant until I was later in life. And it's like, and now I'm looking at this whole baby that's sitting on the inside of me. I'm like, oh my goodness. So from that moment, I was like a believer. I was completely a believer. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm having a baby. So like, I wanted to video record it at that moment to send to the father, but I was so wrapped up in emotion that I couldn't. He's out of town, so he couldn't be there. He lives out of town, so he couldn't be there for the appointment. But I was just so wrapped up in emotion at the moment that I couldn't think of nothing else. I just kept staring at the screen in awe. And I'm like, I can't wait to meet that little kid. So then it seems like they scheduled the appointments out forever away. It's like, oh my gosh, I got to wait 2 weeks. So my next appointment was 2 weeks from that date. And I went in for more blood work and more ultrasound, more sonograms. And I was just like, as she was, and I got to hear my baby's heartbeat. I recorded it, and while we were listening to it, you can hear the baby kick. And she was like, oh, the baby's kicking. And I'm like, what? All this time I thought that was gas, but I didn't know that was my baby kick. So that was really exciting. But just hearing the little heart just so fast, it's like, I'm like, whoa, that little heart just a going. So that was exciting. My second doctor's visit, I did make sure to go video live with my child's father, and he was able to share in that experience with us. But that was such a beautiful moment. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is our baby. So it was very sweet. I actually wrote down some notes because I was like, I'm not gonna remember everything that I want to say. My emotions, I went from shock to disbelief to fear to excitement to like, it just had a wealth of different emotions. I didn't know exactly how to feel at any given time. It just kind of fluctuated. One moment it's like, oh my gosh, this is happening. And the next minute it's like, oh my gosh, well, what if? Because, you know, as you get older, they kind of call you the geriatric age. So over 36 is so many alarms and red flags that go up in the doctor's office. So you're like on different watches. Like, we got to check you for this. We got to check you for that. Let's check the baby for Down syndrome and da-da-da-da. It's like, oh my gosh, all these are possibilities just because I'm 39. So naturally that makes you feel even a bit older than you already did. But I'm like, nothing could steal the joy that I had just knowing that in like some months, I'll be having a baby. So that was really exciting. Some of the things that I experienced from the time that I found out at 10 weeks to I'm currently 15 weeks. Um, as I said, I had no morning sickness. I do have sensitivity to smell and things like that. I was extremely sleepy. I would say, as of the last 2 days, I've had more energy, but I literally would wake up in the morning and want to go right back to sleep. I could not keep my eyes open to save my life. And I would hate if I made plans to do something because I'm like, I don't want to do it. I just want to sleep. So I went through that spell. That was really horrific. I couldn't understand why I was so sleepy and so tired. So when I found out I was pregnant, a lot of stuff started making sense. Like the whole my nipples hurt and I'm so tired. It was like, everything makes so much sense now. So it was good to find that out and be able to like say, oh, that's what's going on. That's the reason for this and that's the reason for that. So I must say that was quite delightful. Let's see. Oh, another thing that I experienced is getting up several times throughout the night to use the bathroom. I try to lay there. Well, initially, I would try to lay there and just go back to sleep and be like, I'm gonna just pee when I get up, and my stomach would hurt, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to get back to sleep, so I might as well get up. Well, I used to get up only once per night to go to the bathroom, and now it's like two or three. And that's even if I try my hardest not to drink anything before I go to bed. I'm like, this is annoying. Because when I get up to go to the bathroom, I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to go to sleep. Sometimes I go right back to sleep. I'll be like, oh, I'm not going to be able to go to sleep. And then other times I'll come back and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to go to sleep. And I'm wide awake looking at TV. Like, no, I don't want to do that. So that's some of the things that I've experienced. I'm trying to figure out, however, if I have a baby bump or if it's just that I'm greedy and bloated. I'll show you my baby bump in a second. Let me make sure I covered everything. Pretty much. So that's my updates on how I felt finding out that I was having my first child at the age of 39. Um, it was a wealth of emotions, but anything that I go through at this point is so worth it. It's like I'm breathing life. Like there's a little angel inside of me, and as long as the angel comes out acting exactly like me, oh, it's gonna be the perfect baby. The father doesn't agree, but whatever. Anyways, let me show you my stomach. We'll let you determine if this is a baby bump or if I'm just eating a lot. Because I can tell you for the last couple days, whew. Oh, that's another thing. I'm always out of breath. Like, completely out of breath. Now, I've always had a little gut, but it does feel like it's a little higher in this area. So I'm like, am I just wanting to see my baby bump that bad? Or do I really have one? Is it really there? So tell me what you think, especially women who's been there. I'll see if I can find a picture of what my stomach looked like before. But I think I'm getting my baby bump. And I'm so excited. Anyways, that's it. Until next time, I'll try to do an update maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks to show my progress. But I'm really excited about this baby. Oh, the doctor called me today to confirm that the gender is available because I took some on my last visit. I had some blood work completed and they were able to determine what the sex of the baby is. So I called them earlier and left the voicemail. So when they called me back, they were able to confirm that they do have the results. I was like, don't tell me. Because I want the father and I to find out at the same time. So with that being said, she was like, well, we could put it in an envelope for you and you could just come by and pick it up. So I think I'm going to do that and probably have one of my friends to come up with a neat idea so that the father and I can kind of open it up together and find out at the same time what we're having. So stay tuned. I'm really excited about what the future holds for us, me, this baby. I am just really excited for it all. So I know this was a long message, but I had a lot of information. It came from the first time that I found out until 15 weeks. So my weekly videos would be a lot shorter. All right. Hope you enjoyed it. Please give me your feedback.